welcome to another edition of What the Fuck and Google is Evil. And whatever the rest is, you know, happenings here, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, another video. Another video. So it can either be a cupcake or it can be a nail in your eye. Kind of just depends on the painting that's in your brain, really. But anyway, you can paint anything you want, frankly. Anything you want. Yeah. Anything your brain desires. Yeah, right. Anything your brain decides. And that's all there really is. It doesn't choose. Anyway, so video. So yes, I made a video. I think a rather good one, frankly. I was satisfied. I'm not satisfied very often, so that doesn't mean anything, frankly. It means it sounded right to me. It doesn't mean it's going to sound right to the imbeciles. But anyway, yeah. It is what it is. So it started with I got a new image. One of the generous members of the audience, there are a few of you out there, did provide this nice thought-provoking piece of art that really is quite brilliant. I like it. Anyway, yeah, so many ways you can use it, but using my nail in the eye and my cupcake transposition, and it's a very interesting rendering of that idea. So good work and such. So let's see what I'm saying. Probably talking about it a little bit in the beginning. It's paid for the whatever, again, the trivial cupcake. Yeah, so we're paying way too high a price for way too superficial a whatever golden ticket. Blah 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 blah. It's all just a tragic story of too high expectation and mindless chasing. Can't produce much evolution in this channel, but other people can. Yeah, so just pointing out how, yes, this is very helpful. Thank you. I'm trying to do something. There is stuff in the works, sort of, in more interesting content, blah blah blah, maybe, possibly, I don't know. We'll see. But yes, this is obviously something different. Doing their thing, and will be interrupted by the fact that they have to be digested and consumed. So just pointing out, so this is a real, the basic story is, we're just robots, bugs, planet, we see the design, consume, reproduce, not very complicated. And the only story is this complex brain that is really just a scheming tool, and the fact is we can use it to scheme the truth. And that's it. That's the story. And the argument is, what's the truth? And the truth is, we're bugs that are just scheming. And we can scheme for salvation from torture, or we can scheme for silly cupcakes. Boom. That's the, yeah. That's the simple Reader's Digest condensed version of the novel. Reactionary machine. It just reminded me, one of the condensed novels I wrote, and it was a Reader's Digest, where they shortened a story about a guy getting eaten by a bear, and it just went into this extraordinary detail of what he was experiencing, why the bear was eating him, and I just remember shit, it was just this is just not what you want to have happen to you, is to be eaten by a bear. Obviously he survived, but I just mean, yeah, very bad. Self-evolve the brain, okay, and it's again by the same rules. Who's the better gladiator, who can go out, right? So just talking about the bug life, and that it's really just an argument about, yes, we should be able to expect better from our brains than just bug behavior, because our brains can understand we're bugs and it can compensate for the bugness, and so therefore we shouldn't have any problem being reasonable, functioning, smart things. We should do smart things, not dumb things, like kill people for cupcakes. because you've been there before and you've done that. So just talking about how the brain works, just stores experiences. You can have an experience by reading a book, get eaten by a bear book, or you can read some other book and you can gain knowledge and information. And oh, I didn't think of it that way. That elephants with green hats are similar to whales, and maybe they're evolved from each other. Didn't think of that. Outcomes, and then claim that there's some positive outcome that makes it worth it. So then it's all the rationalizations. We're just, again, using the brain for the wrong purpose, to make excuses, to cop out, to find some way to make it make sense that I'm raping the children or something. So you're just rationalizations, and that's just scheming, and that's poor performance, and we should expect better from each other in terms of how we use our brains, how we use our capacity to put the pieces of the puzzle together. We should expect each other to do it kind of honestly and with integrity, and to admit that, oh yes, the puzzle points to a big arrow saying asshole, and it's pointed at me, and I have to take responsibility for that. Leprechaun hat. So I was using the whale. Your brain can make anything, right? So it can make the truth, or it can make a whale with a leprechaun hat, or it can make a whale with a magic wand and wearing a tutu. It can do all kinds of things, and the idea is it's supposed to do the truth. And the fact is, it manufactures things. And so I do get into the conversation about the hard problem of consciousness, and the fact is, it just manufactures feelings. It's trying to draw one, and the drawing comes out, ouch! Because you can't draw it. You can't draw no. No isn't an image. No isn't a mechanical thing. No is a concept. So it makes the concept out of, here's a shitty feeling. There, that's no. Don't do that. Okay. Don't have that. And that's all your brain is doing, is manufacturing these emotions. Yeah, so instead of being a smartphone and beeping or vibrating or doing playing a fucking goddamn tune, instead your brain manufactures feelings, and it compiles thoughts and ideas that are connected to feelings. That's what it does. That's how your smart brain works. And pretend we love them, so oh yeah, so alright, so and all the fake parts of our lives, all this fake phony bullshit people live for, and they all use these words like they mean something where they just mean possession and ownership and attachment and addiction, and it's all negative stuff, and we pretend we're helping each other and love each other. Oh, no, you're just scheming to put more butterflies in your pocket. Really decide when to stop thinking. You stop thinking before you stop thinking. Alright, right. So the subconscious is doing all of it anyway, so you don't get you're just a spectator. You're just watching you perform, and then you're capable. Your subconscious will give you an opinion, and then you think it's your own opinion, but it's just your brain's opinion. And you watch that even happen. You watch yourself rationalize, and you actually recognize, hey, I'm rationalizing. You can watch, but you're just a watcher, really. Okay, the body and the brain does this crap, and you just watch it do it. The you that's, I'm here. That you is just watching it happen. It's a victim, just like the rest of the victims. Sort of, and it decides when, it's okay, so when it decides and how it decides, and so I sort of just metaphored that too. It knows when a puzzle is put together, so when it matches, a completeness notion, like, well, 70% of the pieces are put together, you should be able to tell what it is by now, so fuck you, we're done thinking. So some kind of procedure. Your brain goes through a procedure, and it says you're done thinking about it, you've made a decision, blah, 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 the end. But it's just some sort of mechanical decision. It doesn't have any merit. It doesn't really know that you should have maybe spent 5 more minutes, or you should have spent 10 hours, or you should have stopped thinking a half an hour ago, but you had the right answer then. It doesn't know any of that shit. It doesn't have any magic knowledge. It just has to go based on the performance of your idea manipulation. Also on a piece of paper, stuff I can't read. So I did take notes, but they weren't of much value. Blah blah blah. What else is new? All right, moving on. Thing itself, I mean, there is a bias here. It wants to be able to say, yes, you did a good job, brain. Okay, so yeah, that's the other part, is that our own brain is doing this confirmation bias thing where it just really wants to say it's performing properly and it's adding things up right and all that kind of crap. And because, you know, obviously the diagrams, the drawings, the puzzle, when the puzzle is saying you win, it likes that. When it says you have to lose, it doesn't like that, so it evades putting pieces together that end up having you in the quicksand and instead have your neighbor in the quicksand. Not very complicated. We suck, we suck, we suck. Humans aren't much better than bugs. Not much. I mean, we're a little bit more civilized. We can do the little pinky thing, but we can't do much more. It, frankly, and I know. Okay. I'm using the pinky metaphor again because I'm civilized. Yeah, see, yeah, that's the proof of it, right? So the superficial ways of calling somebody civilized is what they you know, wet their panties over silly little problems and you know, get hysterical, and they totally ignore the big giant bucket of cancer or something else right next door or whatever, and you know, it's just all bullshit. The priorities are insipidly undemonstrative of careful consideration in an honest way. People don't carefully consider in an honest way. They vote for stuff because they get a tax break. They vote for stuff because it does them some benefit. I mean, it's all very crass, and it really doesn't have anything to do with the long-term interest of humans on this planet. It just has to do with trying to stick nails in other people's eyes and take all the cupcakes. Mostly. Difference between being a swimmer and being a walker. And humans are diverse. Oh yeah, so I was just talking about why developmentally we're so retarded, and the fact is that it's all part of the evolutionary design. I mean, the fact is that we need to be programmed. Language is probably the key reason why our children are so disabled, is because they have to be, it has to be a careful, complex operating system has to be installed, language. And so it needs the brain not to have a bunch of used memory. It needs as much of it open and useful as possible to compile the language, instead of spending the resources on the cure for the future. I keep emphasizing the point, but yes, I mean, it's obviously a sign of our lack of civilization that we can't even figure out that the future is much bigger than the present, and the last thing we should be doing is spending the future's money, or borrowing their money, or stealing from their clean water, or creating unsustainable brokenness, you know, giving them a car that's got 568,000 miles on it and is just about ready to croak. That's not nice. Comfortable with the idea that you might have to sacrifice everything. Yeah, so that's just part of the rationalizations, blah, 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 and lots of people have been very heroic. I mean, all the people who died in the wars and all that kind of stuff, doing their duty and all that kind of nonsense, trying to be civilized, trying to be a hero for civilization and decency and the truth and all that kind of crap, and then so many others doing so little. It's not good. We can't find one that's young enough or smart enough. Nope. And we're just electing clowns, you know, just overt. So just an end little political note that you're just sad that we can't, you know, the real evidence of the degrade in civilization, that it can't even, you know, can't find something even close to not being a bug to elect president. I mean, they can't find anything without obvious antennas and, you know, chomping jaws and shit. All right, so I think that's the end, and it is. Alright. So anyway, I think a fairly okay video, as videos go. So probably worth watching on the website. Website's a little bit broken. I can't get the indexing thing to work properly, and some different things, but whatever. Yeah. Working on it. Blah, 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 blah. Alright, so I think that's a video. So, till the next time, when I will make a further effort to reason with you, throw ideas and themes at you to get you to understand cupcakes are for losers, okay, and preventing nails in the eye is what the winners are doing. Okay, so till the next time and such.